Before reigning over the galaxy as a Sith Lord, Darth Vader grew up as a humble boy on the desert planet of Tatooine, where him and his mother, Shmi Skywalker, were both slaves to the business-savvy Toydarian gambler known as Watto. Years later, when a much older Anakin turned to the dark side and ruled under his new moniker, Darth Vader, along with a completely new look, we are left with the question, did Watto ever find out that Anakin was Darth Vader? Did he ever learn that his former slave was now the man behind the black mask and one of the most feared faces in the galaxy? Let's find out in today's video. So, upon watching the films, we were led to believe that the only time Anakin ever returned to Tatooine after leaving with Qui-Gon at age 9 to be trained as a Jedi was when he came back in an attempt to save his mother from death in Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. We also know that years later, once he made the eventual transformation into Darth Vader, he did everything he could to forget his past and detach himself from the Jedi Knight he used to be. His entire life as Anakin Skywalker was now just a series of memories which caused him great pain. Memories of losing his wife Padme, losing his mother, destroying the Jedi, and putting an end to the Old Republic. He would live the rest of his life in suppressed regret of these acts and would do everything he could to distance himself from these feelings and recollections. This included dismissing his home planet of Tatooine, a literal symbol of his former self. Obi-Wan knew this, and this is the main reason why he hid Anakin's son Luke there all those years. Obi-Wan knew that Vader would never return to it under any circumstance, not wanting to relive his past. After all, it was there on Tatooine where Anakin, for the first time, let darkness overcome him and slaughtered the Tusken Raiders who captured and killed his mother. This was completely contrary to the Jedi ways he had been brought up in, and would foreshadow his eventual turn to the dark side and transformation into Darth Vader, and as a byproduct, the death of Padme. Being the so-called chosen one, Anakin felt he should have been able to save his mother. He felt responsible for her death, but at the same time couldn't help inflict blame on his former owner, Watto. If Watto had not sold his mother after Anakin left to become a Jedi, she would never have been captured and would therefore not have died at the hands of the Tusken Raiders. Hence why Vader did everything he could to forget Tatooine. Plus, he hated sand.
I don't like sand.
Now, a quick backstory on Watto. His species are known as Toydarians, and Watto did in fact grow up on the planet of Toydaria as a soldier. After suffering an injury, he left the military and later relocated to Tatooine, where he opened a junk shop in the town of Mos Espa. Watto won the 2 Skywalker slaves in a bet against Garjula the Hutt. His species are also famously immune to Jedi mind tricks.
I'm a Toydarian! Mind tricks gonna work on me. Only money.
Now, although Shmi Skywalker's recovered journal suggests that Watto was in fact a decently kind slave owner, we can assume that Anakin's memories of the time aren't all that great. And as a boy, he would have desperately desired his and his mother's freedom. We can gather that however innocent Anakin seemed in Episode 1 as a young boy, his feelings towards Watto had to have been loathsome. Now, here's where it gets interesting, because in recent Star Wars comic publications, specifically the 2015 Darth Vader comic series, which is considered canon, we find out that Vader did, in fact, return to Tatooine, after all. While there, he conducts business with Jabba the Hutt and slaughters another Tusken Raider camp. Lastly, we also have an animated frame of Vader murdering a Toydarian species, who appears to be Watto. While this is not confirmed in writing, we can assume that this was in fact Anakin's former owner. I mean, why would they include a visual of Vader killing a Toydarian species on Tatooine who looks just like Watto if it wasn't actually meant to be him? So, although he isn't mentioned by name, it's quite safe to assume. No more information is known yet about this scene, whether or not Vader told Watto his true identity before murdering him, or whether Watto somehow picked up on it in one way or another, being it a verbal cue or whatnot. It's possible that Vader simply force-choked Watto to death without a word, but my guess would be that before doing so, he would have discreetly let Watto know somehow, as a way of payback for the years of slave ownership over him and his mother while he was a young boy, and for orchestrating the events which eventually led to the death of his mother. After all, the Sith are known to operate on revenge, hatred, and anger, so it makes sense that Vader would want Watto to feel some form of remorse during his dying breath. But what do you think? Was this in fact Watto? And if so, did he learn Vader's true identity before meeting his untimely demise? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and until next time, may the Force be with you.